everyone, and welcome to our first session in a series we're doing to help you set priorities for 2024. These sessions are going to be all about going beyond business as usual and looking at the tech trends for success tomorrow. I'm Chris Belfontaine. I'm your host for this session. And today we have a great conversation ahead, diving into why sustainability in contract furniture is our big bet at KiSP for 2024, and what you can do to incorporate sustainability conversations into your sales and marketing. Joining us today is Gabe Schriftgeiser, who's an expert in the contract furniture industry. Welcome, Gabe.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me today. What? Out of the bat, I agree with your statement. And when you look at 2024 and what's coming for this year, again, front and center is our sustainability ideas. Not only because our own sales force is demanding it, because we see that as a true trend in the market.
How do you think that the B2B buyers are actually going to be able to influence this shift towards sustainability?
Many considerations to that. One is the age of that buyer. And many of these buyers are now in their maybe late 30s, early 40s, and they grew up conscious of things like this. With the environment, it's important, and not everything is about pricing. And so, at the same time, the second consideration is they're trying to occupy. So they're trying to go into a building that is maybe LEED certified, or they're just trying to reduce overall the carbon footprint of the space they're trying to build on. And so they'll be looking at many other considerations than pricing. Again, 10 years ago, pricing was the norm. If the price was right, you were buying, and you really didn't care where the furniture came from or where it was made. That has dramatically changed.
Yeah, I think modern B2B buyers are definitely steering the procurement strategies of their companies towards this. I've read that, more than 2/3 of them are considering it a buying factor, and nearly 3/4 in a recent study say that they're willing to pay more for products from sustainable brands. And that's just not going to go away. Products which have started to make this turn are growing faster than others that haven't. There's just been all kinds of data around this, not only for the buying process, but also, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but in the circular economy as well, and handling at the end of life.
Yep.
So sustainability has been on the radar for a little while now, and we know it's something that people have been talking about. Why is it the focus for KiSP now? Can you talk a little bit about why that's what we feel is what's next and what's next for our clients?
Sure. A very good question. So for the last 20 something years, we've been helping our customers, the dealers, specify furniture. So our expertise grew into, well, what is the best solution for a customer need or problem? But at the same time, our feelings are that now we understand furniture way better than anybody else, because we are not in one niche. No, there are dealers that sell a specific manufacturer, group of manufacturers, but we cover, we go across the board. We see them all, or most of them, or the bigger ones, and we feel we understand what the differences are among them. So it was just an extra bit of studying, understanding, and digging more into what type of materials, what are they using, and what's the story behind the furniture that we're trying to specify. And that didn't come by accident. Also, it was a little bit of something that came from the basis, from the designers we are employing, who all of a sudden said, well, why are we doing this? Why are we not using that one? So I feel they are now better understanding the differences in the carbon footprint of the different lines of furniture that goes behind, way behind the fog of what you see on the green page of any manufacturer. Or what they want to post. We can dig a little bit deeper and see more, and provide the buyer with that edge that will show that if you do X or use B, you'll be increasingly reducing your carbon footprint. There is a second part to this, and which is the mock-ups. In the buying process today, a company wants to kick the tires, and that's normal. When you buy a car, you go and literally kick the tires. So a mock-up is something that they will order, I would say, 5 different manufacturers two or three different mockups where they show me an individual station, a cluster of four, a private office, what have you. That would require that 4 or 5 different companies build mockups that are really samples that are only being used one. You use that and then straight to the landfill. And you literally have it up for maybe 2 or 3 days for people to walk by and look at it and kick the tires. We feel virtual mockups will do way, way better. You always need to kick the tires, but maybe you do virtual until you have the final two, and then you do a mockup of one sample
Hmm.
because you already saw it. Virtual and augmented reality will place you in the space, and short of actually kicking the physical tire, it will let you experiment. You have, or you do have an idea, but the savings in carbon footprint and in shipping and no, in FedExing stuff by doing it virtual is a world of difference.
I mean, not only the financial savings, but also the time savings, right? Those logistics can take a long time in the sales process. So on the screen
Right.
now, this is an example of a two-pack of cubicles in AR. I know, I don't think this is, like you said, it's never going to be maybe a full replacement, but I think it's a great opportunity to, get further down the road or maybe even expand the mock-up.
Correct. So you're looking at a space that already exists. So there's a picture of the space to describe what you have on the screen with two augmented reality stations. You're right. You're not, again, going back to the analogy of kicking the tires, but then you get to see the space they take. You get to see how the light interacts with it. You get to see what the interaction will be with those two people are sitting in that station. So at least you get the idea of what the design is doing. So imagine you're looking at 4 or 5 different manufacturers in augmented reality, like this on a flat screen or with goggles, which will be how this will evolve to be. And it will make a determination that, hey, I like these two or I like these three. Now I would like to see one sample. And when we get to the sample, you don't really need to see the two workstations you're looking at on the screen. You can actually look at one because you already know how it looks and feels in the space. So again, savings are considerable, and direct savings and soft dollar savings. Again, there's a huge reduction in the carbon footprint of all stakeholders, the manufacturer and the buyer.
At KISP, we often look for digital solutions to our problems because, we try to stay on the forefront of technology. Let's talk about some of the options to use digital tools that are customer facing. So we already talked a little bit about mock-ups, but our customers can also build tools on their website like calculators that potentially show the carbon footprint of their different options, and that's something that we can do and help with in the specification process as well.
Correct. Yes. So the tools already exist again. So is can we build can we use actually some of the existing ones? And there's 2 or 3 that are wide available in the market. What we believe is that the learning how to use those three and actually applying it is what will make the edge and the difference. The tool will tell you quickly what the carbon footprint is on an item, but unfortunately, some of the way these things are built, and I can't blame the creator of the app. No, you have to pay to be part of the catalog. So not everybody and everything is on that list. But the tool is giving you the ability to go and do the research on your own. It will take a little bit longer. But again, we don't believe, at least not at the beginning in our 2024 vision, that you're going to be doing this to the nth degree, meaning you're not going to go and research the chair, the fabric, the casters, the arms. You're going to look for the bigger items. Again, the desk, the panels, if it exists, the big tables. And I think we have enough tools at KISP that would allow us to do that and give you a number of, in a scale to 1 to 10, what are you achieving by buying or mixing up different furnitures and manufacturers.
So another area for focus in our sustainability plans for 2024 is kind of helping our customers bring this into their sales pitch and really differentiate themselves from their competitors when they are talking to those buyers who are more interested in sustainability. What are some ways that people can train their own sales team and sort of bring it into the pitch, whether it's materials or logistics calculations and other items?
Very good question. Now, training a sales force is a challenge. And again, I believe, and I'm old enough to be able to say this, but it will be a generational thing. I think as new salespeople, not only that, I think the environment, it will play a role almost as a recruiting tool. You're going to be able to probably hire the brightest. And again, when we look back and say we're in the furniture industry, so attracting bright people to an industry like this is a challenge. Attracting bright people to an industry where it's not about the furniture, but it's about responsibilities and responsibility with the environment will play a big role. Because if you bring a salesperson who will be a champion of the environment and sustainability and a carbon footprint reduction, that would convert the way this person sells. Salesperson of the past used to walk around with catalogs, right? And they would say, "Oh, you want a chair? What type of chair do you want? Or you want adjustable?" Now it will be more the sales pitch along how much, what are we trying to achieve? It's a sustainability a big topic? Should we focus on that and start the conversation with sustainability and show the buyer that I'm not here to show you catalogs on furniture and talk to you about how great this chair is, but to tell you how much sustainability will increase and how much will you progress on your carbon footprint if you buy these type of assets. So training the sales force to lead with the sustainability topics and the environment, I think is what will produce the bigger change. And we're not there yet. But you know what? The good thing about KiSP is that we're always about what's going to happen next, and we're focusing on that. We cannot force or help or have any saying on what type of salesperson a dealer hires. But I think it will happen. And it will happen, we might contribute by saying, this is what buyers want, especially big companies. Big organizations are already there.
Yeah, and I think we've seen throughout different trends, right, that our most successful clients are those who know that they have to be consultants and partners, and know that they have to bring something extra to their clients in order to make it, improve, sorry, or improve the value that they are really bringing. I think this is just another one of those conversations where salespeople can bring something to the table that a buyer can't find if they're just looking to order something online. So ultimately, outside of the our products themselves, it can come down to other areas too that we have to kind of consider in this sustainability initiative. Things like the packaging and the end of life stuff. Um, you know, what are the ways that you foresee the industry changing in outside of just products and finishes?
Interesting. This morning, I was reading an article in the New York Times about how Amazon is trying to walk away from the brown boxes. And so I think this is how that will start. So nobody, ships more cardboard than Amazon probably nowadays. And so they're putting an initiative to get rid of that. So they're trying to figure out a way of doing it better. I think they're just going to drive the industry and the market, industries and markets. Again, you buy a refrigerator comes packed in a box that the guy in front of you is cutting, opening up, and goes straight to the garbage. It's never going to be used again. So all that I think was evolved. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I think that packaging will change, and just bringing the awareness of that, just mentioning this article that I read today, or looking at the trends. No, cardboard boxes are going to disappear, and that's the plastic. So you buy this chair that I'm sitting on, it comes in a plastic. Again, you're gonna cut the plastic, and the plastic is gonna go. And no, it's plastic is not something easy to recycle, way better than it used to be. But how can we ship this chair? Where no, we change the way we're shipping this. We're changing the way we're packaging this. Again, on our end, we don't play a role in that other than bringing the awareness that if our designers find a chair that ships and wrapped in recyclable paper instead of a cardboard, and no, corrugated paper instead of a cardboard. Well, making aware that no, there's life before the furniture unveils into your office or shows up in your office, and there's life after. So the how it would show up in the office and what will happen after it leaves the office will be part of the awareness we want to bring our customers and potential buyers on.
Yeah, and certainly not something we would want as dealers and manufacturers to get tripped up on, right? If we make a sustainability promise about the product itself, and then
Right.
kind of trip at the finish
Mhm.
line with the customer seeing all kinds of
Mhm.
plastic coming off those chairs, that could be a bad look. So it really is thinking about that full life cycle.
Correct. Yes. And again, for us, it's about making the customer aware of that.
So, I just want to highlight a few places where, I know this is sort of outside the dealer's hands, but there's increasingly these digital options that I think lend really well to sustainability. So I wanted to mention, the increased use we're seeing of things like product configurators so that, people have a much closer idea of what they want before they purchase it, and there's potentially less, return and change and that kind of thing. All those kinds of tools can lead to sustainability as well, and how we treat things in terms of reuse, storage, and end of life.
Yeah. And then again, those tools are the tools of today. Nobody specifies furniture by hand anymore, and nobody configures them by hand. And these are the tools of the designer. And the only thing that I envision evolving, Chris, is that when you see that list to the side, where you see manufacturer, model, dimensions, finishes, you're going to see a line that will read calculate carbon footprint,
That's right.
and it potentially give you a score because that's what people will understand. And so, even though pricing is always going to show up on this list, I believe pricing will be below carbon footprint or below footprint score. That is where all these tools, when you can do a side by side, apples to apples comparison, those tools are going to become very valuable because this is digital. You're going to put this on a screen in front of your buyer, and maybe not only the buyer, in front of all stakeholders. No, if it's a multi-million-dollar project, stakeholders are going to make a decision, and it might not be only on price. No, those stakeholders, especially big corporations, are going to be looking at that carbon footprint and that sustainability score. So that is happening.
So, just as we wrap up, anyone sort of tuning in to listen to this is probably looking for, where can they get started? How can they bring sustainability into their own agendas for the remainder of this year and ongoing? Do you have sort of some kind of key things you'd recommend people look at first?
What we'd like to do is, there are no books where you can go and read it. This is what we see. No, we have, like I said before, the advantage of looking across the industry. So I would recommend a conversation. Call us, write a note, let us know. Call us is a note. The phone rings without an appointment, nobody answers. So send us a note. Let us know you want to address this, that you see this in your radar. Like we saw it last quarter of last year when we decided that this is something we want to focus on in 2024. Let's have a conversation. Where do you see yourself in this path? And let us help you walk that path.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Gabe, for sharing your expertise today. I hope everyone can tune in and join us for our next summit series. We have some great stuff coming up on using VR and AR, which frankly are a big part of the sustainability initiatives as well. We have some stuff on realism and rendering and much more. So we'll talk soon, but visit us at KISP.com. And as Gabe says, drop us a line.